Welcome to 40K Radio. Hello and welcome to episode 105 of 40K Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Matt Alex. With me, as always, is JF.
Hi, Matt. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I love your enthusiasm today. And Amy.
That's enthusiasm?
I thought it was sultry. I thought that's what he was going for.
I think Matt's just used that when he goes out to bars, that's enthusiasm.
And Amy.
Hello.
Well, hello. And today we're going to talk about the NoVa Open Preview, as well as the latest updates from Games Workshop. But as always, we like to start with our hobby stuff we've been doing lately. And Jeff just got back from a trip, which included a trip to Games Workshop.
Yes, I did. Amy? No, I absolutely. I had a multi-tiered European trip to in the last few weeks, including a stop. Every city I went to, I tried to go as many Games Workshop stores as I could, which was easy in general. Paris, I only went to one, though there's a few because I was only there a day, and the other city, Caen, it's a one Warhammer shop town, so it's tiny. Nottingham only has Warhammer World and a Warhammer store, which in a way was kind of funny because I felt like how do you feel being the Warhammer store in Nottingham? Like, right? Anybody can pick
I get it, because like as a shopper, I'd be like, I am not going there. I'm just not. I'm gonna go to the other store.
I'm going to go to the one that has everything.
Yeah, I mean, unless I need something weird.
Which they would most likely have at Warhammer World anyway, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, Warhammer World doesn't have everything because a lot of stuff I wanted they didn't have.
Oh no!
All right? Well, if I want a Hierophant and they were out, so.
Oh, okay. Yes, they were just out of it. They didn't have it in stock. That's when I went there. I was not. Luckily, they were out of the grot tanks when I was there.
Saving us from ourselves.
No, I need the Hierophant. I have a project. I'm doing a lot of Tyranid stuff.
Fair
okay.
Enough, That's right.
This was budgeted.
Mm-hmm.
No, so I didn't walk into every one of the stores. Like the one in Paris, like I went there after dinner late at night. It was closed, so it's just a creepy dude taking a selfie.
Perfect.
The one in Caen, I went in for like 2 seconds, but didn't really want to have a conversation about Warhammer with a bunch of French dudes, mostly because it's like I play with French people sometimes here, and it is a completely different language. They like Melta is not a word they use. Like there's the vocabulary, the glossary of terms is different. It's very difficult. But in Nottingham, I did drop by the store twice. Once just to check it out, and I had a very long chat with MJ, who's just. I feel like I was stopping them from actually closing up, but anyways, they were super cool. They were super chill, and I went in a second time, and MJ was still there because I feel like there's only 2 Games Workshop employees in Nottingham, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I went there to buy a kill rig because I wanted to get a kill rig. And also it's cost less to buy directly in England.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I went twice to Warhammer World. I went once the first evening I was in Nottingham just because I want to walk and check things out.
And then, no, you just wound up there. It just happened.
No, that was planned. I was going to go check out the donut shop, which is a completely separate catastrophe. And
I saw your first and last food challenge.
I don't know if it's going to be my last, but it's my last for a little while. Oh, I am not food challenge material. I thought I was. Nay. I have a big ear, and there was no way I was going to conquer that. Anyways, no, the catastrophe is that I went to the donut thing, but it was the donut factory, not the shop.
Oh.
No, everything was messed up. Like I had a good time, but everything was just wrong, and I'm stupid. So I went the first night and I chatted. I didn't go into really I went to the store a bit upstairs, but I didn't do much. Like I just hung out for maybe half an hour just to check it out.
Sure.
And here's a great thing. You get to reserve a table. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Just the idea that you could go there, you reserve a table, and then they send you an email. Say, I have a reservation for Sector Mechanicus 3 at 7 tomorrow. Except that's not true, because when you reserve a table, you just have it for the day.
Yeah, the whole day, right?
Yeah, it's maniacal. So and the dude that was there was Ryan, which was super chill, super cool, and very fun to talk to, and very informative. Took my reservation, and then a few days later, when I went there to actually play my game and visit the exhibit and everything, it was not at the door, but everything else was still Ryan everywhere. Everywhere I went, every time I needed to get something done or buy something, Ryan. A piece fell off a model. I needed to buy glue. Ryan was there to say, no, we'll lend you some glue. We have glue specifically for that. It's like, that's brilliant.
That's good.
And
that's A+.
Yeah, and there was some sticky stuff on the table that needed cleaning, so I just went to ask for just a wet cloth so I could clean it myself. And Ryan was there to clean it for me.
Oh, Ryan.
Ryan was the best. Everybody that I interacted with, even though apparently it was just these two people running Games Workshop Nottingham, were fantastic. It was great. So, anyways, I did get to play my game. I did get to visit the exhibition. I wanted to film at the exhibition, but they made it very clear that I would not be able to.
Yeah.
Even though I asked for special permission and everything, said, nah, we don't. Like, you can take pictures, just don't film. It's like, fine. What if I take 24 pictures every second? And he said, how about like a lot of pictures in a short amount of time? No. So I did take like a ton of pictures, like something like 200 pictures, and I'm going to try to do a video. Like my plan was to do a video to reproduce the how it feels to go to games to Warhammer World for those of us that can't necessarily go. But it's very difficult to do that just because of, first of all, how much there is to see and how much they limit how you can record there.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'll do my best with that. You can look forward to that video in the next few weeks. I did play a game. I played a 1,000 point game of Tyranid, new codex. So it was great because our NDA thing lifted on the Saturday for the models and the codex, and I had my game on the Sunday.
Nice.
So I got to play. I got to play with my Norn Emissary and my Neurolictor, because those are the only models I had finished painting there. And it was no one cared. I've done this stunt at the local store here, and I usually have like 4 or 5 people that walk by and say, the new models, oh, painted already, ooh, that's so cool. And I get to like plug the channel and all that. At Warhammer World, no one gave a damn. Even the 2 guys that actually walked by recognized the models and acted as if these models had been out for ages.
Oh, really?
Like, they saw them, they complimented, talked a bit about building, because my opponent was playing some Slaneshi demons and how spiky Slaneshi demons are and fiddly they are, and that was it. Like, that was the conversation. I'm chalking it up to British stoicism. But it was just freaking hilarious to me, because I was, listen, like, part of it's the ego thing. It's like, I hope people notice my model. It's like, no one gave a damn. Yes. And in hindsight, that's almost cooler. It's just funny to me. I lost my game because I can't seem to crack Slaanesh demons or demons in general. They're so aggressive in getting objectives quickly, and then climbing back that slope is difficult for me. One day I'll figure it out. Otherwise, I did play a bit with the new codex, and like I said, the Norn Emissary and the Neurolictor. I feel like I could leverage both of these models a lot better in now that I know what they're doing a little bit more.
Yeah.
Especially the Neurolictor being able to like just pick a unit and force it to do a battle shock test every freaking round. That is gold. That is what the Tyranids are good at.
I put together my other 2 Neurolictors the other day. I'm looking forward to putting all 3 down and just go ahead, make 3 battle shock tests, and then you get debuffed if you fail.
Yeah, I don't think you can use it on the same unit more than once.
No. But you have to do 3 different units. But any unit, the effect is separate. It's not that unit. It's any unit that has failed battle shock within 12.
Yeah. Which is great because with the Shadow and the Warp, if you can get some failures there too.
And a Neuro Tyrant for -1, it's a whole lot of combo.
Yeah, it actually makes the list work a little bit more, which is fun. So yeah, no, I had a really good time. No complaints, I would say, apart from not being able to film, which is kind of a bit sad. The funny thing is, as big as the gaming room was, it felt a little crowded. The tables were amazing, but it felt a little more crowded than what I'm used to at my gaming store. And also, I remember Bugman's Pub's food being better. And it might be because I had spent like the last week just going to really good pubs and good restaurants all the time. And Bugman's is still gaming places, restaurants. So maybe that was it. They did have an amazing cider. So, that's good.
Yeah.
And the desserts were really good. But otherwise, like I had a fine, like, honestly, if you have the opportunity to go and you're a Warhammer player, like there's no reason not to. The shop, although I complained that they didn't have the things I wanted, well, part of it was because I wanted some Tyranid things and they got ransacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And the only other thing I wanted was a shock jump dragsta, which I could have gotten at the shop downtown, but I didn't think about it when I was there. I wanted a kill rig instead. So, but the shop experience is amazing because, like I said, maybe they don't have everything all the time, but usually if they don't have it, they can have it like the next day. It's just that the shop only has so much room. And the shop does have things that you would not find anywhere else. There's some shop exclusives. Some of them are downstairs. Some of them are in the shop themselves. And they just have Forge World on the shelves.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's all right there, right? You can just go, like the entire Titanicus line or, the Horus Heresy line. It's there. You can just go grab it.
Yeah, it's rather insane. And everything's classified by games, and there's curios everywhere with unpainted versions of those Forge World models. Like, I got a good look at the Europhant I couldn't buy because it's right there. The only model that I didn't see in one of those curios was a Manta, but it's a little harder to just have on a shelf.
Some real estate.
It's some real estate. And they have a bunch of models from employees and curios from
their leagues and stuff too.
Yeah, some like Amy would have been jealous because I got to study at close range some Louis Sugden models and some known ones like the Spheranx.
Like the Spheranx.
Yeah. I got to put my peepers on that and check it out. And
that's the model where I learned her name. That's the model that made me go, oh. Okay. Yeah.
So, all in all, like, great experience. The exhibit is mental.
Yes.
It is insane. I did not find the assassin.
I looked for probably an hour and I couldn't find it.
I gave up almost instantly. Like the moment I saw some of these things, I don't have time. I have a game to play, and it's already getting a little late, and I don't know how. Like, it's a 1,000-point game, but I'm playing with rules I don't necessarily know that well yet. I'll find the assassin sometime, some other day.
So, of all the displays you saw, which one was your favorite?
Which one was my favorite? I'm gonna go with the Tyranid one.
The newer Leviathan one.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
It's great because it's a beautiful display. It's got so much going on. It's got a lot of tiny little vignettes.
Yeah.
I didn't find the assassin, but in that display, did you find the guardsman?
I did, cowering in the corner.
Yes, that's so good. Like everything is Space Marines versus Tyranids except for that one guardsman in that building.
I'm in the wrong neighborhood.
It's
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
oh no, I came from the wrong place. No, I love it. It's got all the classics. It's got a Harridan that's just surrounded by a swarm of gargoyles. I've always wanted to see that. There's a Hierophant. There's a dead Hierophant. There's models getting crushed into the ground. It's fun because it's got a lot going on, but not so much that it becomes confusing like the big one. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yeah, the massive one, although, it's the 2-story one.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Lot of vignettes in that one, but it doesn't necessarily present a clear picture of what's going on because there's so much stuff going on everywhere.
Yeah, in a way that's very much more representative
Yes.
of war.
Yeah.
I guess. But also it's just it's too overwhelming. It feels like there's like 4 different dioramas in there and you have to navigate all of them separately.
Did you see the I'm sure you did, the mini Votan diorama?
Yes, I did.
So I like that one because it's the only one that isn't 2 forces fighting. It's just the Votan
Doing
working on a
Votan
ship.
things.
Nice.
And it's nice because it's new also.
Yeah.
Another one that was an honorable mention is the Drukhari one in the forest. Very cool.
Oh, that was really cool. Yeah, against the Catachans.
Yeah. And there's the one just called Orc City
Yeah.
because it's just orcs, and they have a special place in my heart. And of course, like they only have one diorama. Like there's so many Titans. There's one that hurt my heart a little bit because it's basically a Titan garage, if you will, like a Titan workshop, which is kind of what we had we had a Titan shrine for Adepticon, but this one being that they don't have to stuff like 4,000 points of models for armies, it's a lot tighter, a lot more detailed, so that was cool. But they have like every 3 display or diorama, they'll have a Warbringer or a Warlord Titan, but they only had one diorama with a Manta, and that was also cool to see.
I thought the museum, it was great. It is, I guess the only thing that I was kind of sad with, and this is because I've Games Workshop for such a long time, is you get that small little intro area that has here's stuff that we used to make, and then the little portion that they counted of a big Warhammer Fantasy diorama. But other than that, there's nothing in there that's oh, here's some old stuff. Which makes sense, right? Because you want to have, this is the stuff you can buy,
Well, I want to push back on that because they do have little islands here and there of things. Because they're for example, at the beginning you've got a little bit of the history and origins of Games Workshop, but later on there's also a pillar, a pillar cabinet, if you will, that says this is the board games we used to make, and there's original Necromunda, there's Man of War, there's a bunch of older things. Pretty much all their classics are somewhere in the exhibition, but they're not all at the beginning or all sequestered together.
I did see that one. That's a rotating display that changes every 6 months.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyway, and I think actually, now that I was thinking about it, there was a sign that said, here's some Space Marine models from the past, but there was nothing there, so they probably when I was there, they were putting the 40K session back together because they just installed that Leviathan diorama, so it might not have been in there, but anyway.
Because
it's still
I
very
remember,
impressive. It's incredible.
Yeah, I remember seeing, I know there's one display that's just all the Space Marine models, one example of each to show the evolution. There was that.
Oh yeah, see, that wasn't there, so they must have reinstalled that after I had left. But
Yeah, I really did not feel like there was anything missing as far as far as the history of the game. But like you said, maybe we're just reinstalling stuff, or maybe I'm just not that perspective about it. One thing I would say, like, go with your nerd friends.
Yeah.
Like, bring a nerd friend that you can nerd out with at those things, and because there's a lot of oohing and awing at geeky stuff that's a lot of fun.
I almost, after going through it, bought the Smog model because they have one on display all painted, and you realize how absolutely huge that model is.
It is massive.
It also costs about 2/3 as much to buy it there than buy it here.
Oh yeah, well that's everything.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're talking about something that's $600 here and $400 there, that's a big difference. But anyway,
so yeah, no, had a good time. I also went to the only Games Workshop store that I could find in Dublin. It was a Games Workshop store. It's a that's a problem though. They're all very much the same. It's like going to McDonald's.
Well, actually, I went along. That's probably 10 years ago now, so it might be different.
Oh yeah, because 10 years ago it was not a Warhammer store. It was a Games Workshop.
Right, it was
store.
Games Workshop. It had a bunch of quite a few tables in there.
I mean, it is fine. It's I mean, it is larger than the one we have in a mall here, but it's still like it's not like you walk into this. It's not like visiting a friendly local gaming store in different cities where you'll have a very different experience from one store to another. Like Games Workshop, in a way, is very much, and that's not a dig at them, but observation. They are the McDonald's of miniature wargaming.
I mean, they're consistent.
The experience, very consistent. The experience is going to be the same across the world in their shops, in their products, in their games. So,
it's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they're dominating the space right now. So,
I mean, that's in some ways a good thing, right? Because I've gone into plenty of friendly little gaming stores where I just get stared at till I leave.
Mm-hmm.
The not so friendly local gaming stores.
No, definitely. Like, not all game store owners are very good at interacting with their own clientele.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Shout out to my local gaming store where I pre-ordered a Tyranid codex. I went to get it and the corners were all bent and they were out, so the owner just gave me his.
Aww.
So that was neat. Like that's good customer service. Abyss in Montreal. They also have pumpkin spice stuff for the season, so I'm doomed.
So now that you've played a game of the Tyranid codex, how do you feel about the Tyranid codex?
Oh boy, I'm angry. I'm not very happy about it.
Oh boy.
Not because of, like, the game I played. Like, here's the thing. Like, it is fun, and I'll start with some of the positive. One thing they did well is the detachments. Like, and we talked about this briefly, but detachments are absolutely freaking genius. They're so well built. They are fun. They're characterful, and you don't feel like a detachment is a choice on how you're going to be collecting or painting your entire army. Mm-hmm. The detachments have moved from being something that is the thematic for your collection and more, what do I want to bring to the table and how do I want to have fun with it? Like, because I have a vast Tyranid collection, so I can do any of these detachments fairly comfortably and have fun with it. So it feels more like a catalog of, well, today I'm going to be playing a lot of my monsters, so I'm going to be doing the monster list because that's what's going to work better. And also the fact that they kept the original invasion fleet in there pretty much untouched means that if you've got used to and you're having fun playing the army as per the index, you can keep going. Like, you're not stuck changing to something else. So that is all super good, and I love how they did that. My complaints is basically it feels like we got cheated out of parts of the codex. And I'll explain very simply. Like, all of this revolves around the winged Tyranid Prime. Mm-hmm. So we've got this Wing Tyranid Prime, and it's a character, and it's a leader, and it can lead gargoyles. And gargoyles aren't great in close combat. But you know what is great in close combat, and in fact can only do close combat, doesn't even have ranged psychic attacks, is the Wing Tyranid Prime.
Right.
So either it's alone and an easy victim because it's not a lone operative, or it's in a pack of models that it can't really synergize well with. And that sucks. But that's what we had with the Index. And the assumption was, all right, fine. Maybe with the Codex we get a Wing Tyranid Prime with guns. Or maybe we're going to get some Shrikes that we can put the Wing Tyranid Prime in. But no, we got none of these things. So we're kind of stuck with that weird synergy. And it feels like that's a lot, like, because it can also lead a unit of Tyranid warriors, in which case the Wing Tyranid Prime no longer benefits from having movement 12 and fly. So one way or another, this really cool new model is nerfed-ish a little bit. So that feels a little weird. It feels like somehow we should be getting those something to compensate for that at some point. We're just not there yet. Otherwise, I mean, it plays well. It is fun. And that's about it. Like I'm getting what I want from it. Now, one thing I need to another positive though I can slip in is Crusade rules. So just yesterday, me and my bro were supposed to be playing. We're supposed to be shifting to Combat Patrol, and instead we're going to be shifting to Crusade.
Nice.
So I had not really checked out the Crusade rules, and one of the things that's interesting about the Crusade rules is that, first of all, in general, from the book, they've simplified Crusades, which is great because it goes with the whole 10th edition simplifying things. But also the rules for the Tyranids for combat for Crusades look super fun. One of the things when my brother said, "Hey, let's do Crusade," what I thought was, I'll be able to select the detachments I'm using to thematically fit what I'm going to be doing with the Crusade. And yeah, absolutely, I'm going to be able to do that. But also, the Crusade itself is divided into stages, and each of these stages have benefits and penalties, well, mostly benefits really, to encourage you into the detachments that is going to fit that. And it's great. It's beautiful. I love it. It's super fun.
Yeah, I noticed that too, right? It's sort of like you want to play the Vanguard guys first and then move down the line, which is... It'll be great if they continue that sort of thing with other codex, in their own theme. But I think based on the previous rules we've seen for Crusade from last edition, this feels more thematic. Like, they've sort of advanced how they're writing those rules, and hopefully they can keep it up.
Yeah, definitely. And it feels more thematic, but also lighter. So
yeah,
it does feel a little more like a blanket, like a very gossamer blanket that you wrap over the original rules, rather than a completely new appendage that you're stitching on. And one of the things I thought interesting is the Tyranids have a lot of the whole, assimilating biomass thing going on, and through that they gather. They have the opportunity to increase their requisition, basically their requisition limit, and to sort of compensate it to buy, like the requisition points to buy the more supply limit is higher for Tyranids. So I thought that was kind of cute. I mean, we'll see how much it sucks when I want to increase my army size, but
so was your only complaint I should say criticism, the Wing Tyranid Prime thing? Because I found the same thing, right? I played that game. I tried him with gargoyles just because I need another, I had like 80 points left over, and I was like, oh, this doesn't really doesn't really work.
I had other tiny things here and there, but they're not jumping out at me right now, so I'm not. Like one thing I did notice, like I thought the neurolictor should be synapse, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too.
There's to be honest, like there were other little tidbits or things here and there that I do remember thinking, oh, this kind of sucks, but I'm not remembering them right now, so they probably weren't that big a deal, and I think they probably fit into the I should try them before I complain category. But
yeah.
I have tried the Winged Hive Tyrant in different configurations, and it sucks. It's a sexy model. It's a really sexy model. Tyranid Prime, sorry.
Yeah,
but it's hard to make it work properly.
I was surprised the Neurolictor wasn't Synapse, but then he's not a character. Like if he was a character, then I guess it would have made more sense or less sense if he did not have it. But anyway,
yes, but the Maliceptor is not a character, and he's Synapse.
True.
Anyways, all in all, and I've been reading the fluff also in the Tyranid book, which is rare that I read the fluff in a codex because usually it's all stuff I already know about. But I've been really Games Workshop did a good job in hyping Tyranids to me for this edition. So I've been really into it. And I'm finding the quality of the fluff is a lot higher than what I remember it being. Like the first introductory story manages to actually have a character arc that is a little sad and a little melancholic about this guy, this planetary governor who last survivor, realizing on one hand, he totally dropped the ball on how his planet was being invaded and how he reacted, but also at the same time, what was he going to do? And I like the sort of the character arc of taking responsibility for his failures while at the same time acknowledging the futility of being attacked by a cosmic horror. And it's well done. It's well represented. I'm happy.
I always found the Tyranid fluff to be one of the more interesting because it's right. It's not from the Tyranid's point of view. It's from whoever is being eaten by the Tyranids, their point of view.
Yeah. Which is great. So yeah, no, listen. There is a list you can do with a Winged Hive Tyrants, 3 Norn emissaries, and 3 Norn 3 Norn assimilators, and that would be the stupidest list ever. But you can do it.
And it looked cool.
And that's kind of great.
Awesome.
So, well, how about you, Amy? now I've taken the floor for 45 minutes.
So I'm going to put big air quotes around the word finalized, my Votan list for Adepticon, in that I finalized the points and models that I need, but now that weapon upgrades don't cost points, it's hard. I'm no closer. I'm like, oh no, I still need to figure this out.
Angie's got a bunch of point drops too.
Yeah.
A lot of point drops.
So it's drama. But that's basically where I'm trying to get going, because we're, in the under 200 days, and there's a lot to do. I've been working on ancillary secret things, which is always good. We're getting right back into secret project time, which is the worst, because it's just everything I'm working on is top secret for one reason or another. But I assure you, things are happening. But my undersea, the undersea Votan are going to be pretty great, I think, when they're done. We'll see. That's about it, though. How about you, Matt?
I have been assembling some Tyranids.
Heck yeah.
What?
Yeah, go figure. With all, I haven't really gotten to play a game. I went to Dragon Con, so that sort of ate up a whole week. I got to see some cool 40K cosplay though, which was fun.
Ooh.
Dragon Con is wild.
It is insane. I know we all have fun at Adepticon, but this is literally just a 24-hour, 4-day party. where you can see lots of interesting things.
Yeah. Did you do any of the really weird things?
No, I
You
did not.
didn't go to the anything but clothes ball?
No, I did not. Nope. We sort of just took it
All right.
first time going, so just tried to just get like a ground based experience. I guess I would say. But I mean, I guess the way to put it is, it's the only place where you can see a bunch of people dressed up as Tina from Bob's Burgers, all doing her little Tina dance together, or just stuff like that. It was fun. It was really, but I mean, it's great people watching too.
Oh yeah, you could sit in the at the Marriott for just hours and just watch people.
So I didn't get to play any games, but other than that, I got my Tyranid stuff. I've been putting some stuff together, and I hope to play a game with them very soon. I think
I'm playing again this Saturday.
Nice.
Pick it.
I have some friends who want to do a crusade, and I'll probably do Tyranids for that.
Yeah, it looks really good. It looks so much fun.
All right, so we had the NoVa Open preview, where I think, as everybody expected, we get to see all those Space Marine models that we didn't get to see, because the Tyranids won. And it was, I guess it was a good thing the Tyranids won, because the weekend of the NoVa Open was the day that the Tyranids went up on pre-order. So,
Yeah,
almost like it was. And that
I wonder how well they were prepared. Were they prepared to like pivot on that? If say Space Marines would have won, would we have gotten Space Marines first? It feels unlikely. Right?
What I will say is this: when I worked for Games Workshop, I worked for them during the Armageddon campaign in 3rd edition, and at a meeting they're like, "Oh no, we already wrote the fluff for what's going to happen. We just change the results as need be."
Boo!
I mean, which, especially for something like this, if they did that, I'm not saying they did, but makes sense, because if that was the pre-order date, right, and Tyranids was always the codex coming first, no matter what. Even if like would they have shown?
That would be wild.
You can pre-order these today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They've done that. They've done weird things like that. Like, it's available right now. Well, because the preview was Wednesday, right? Wednesday?
Yeah, it was Wednesday, right? So
I mean, that's still like a couple days. They could have just,
Yeah.
They could have done it. It's unknowable.
So, lots of new Space Marine stuff. Hopefully, none of you listeners out there get caught up in the old man scouts are going to be a thing anymore. I better pay $80 a box now, because you got far superior models.
Yeah.
With all the same weapon options you have now.
They're very cool. I do feel like watching this preview, right? So 9th edition was like the Lieutenant edition. This is feeling very captain heavy.
Yeah, they're just switching over to captains.
They're like, we're off lieutenants. We're doing captains now. Everybody's about captains.
Everybody got a promotion.
Captains and big banners. That's what's in season. It feels like Fashion Week, right? Like, that's my thing about Space Marines, is every time there's new Space Marines, it's like, all right, it's Fashion Week. Let's see big shoulders. Show me large weapons. Great. Fabulous. That's what we're doing this year. Milan is all about it.
Bones and skulls.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it Indominus, where the guy just had half a skeleton on his shield?
Yeah.
Yes. Like, my buddy died at war, but I'm still bringing him around with me.
I think one of these models has a skeleton on a shield. I'm pretty sure. Doesn't he?
Probably.
I think there's a captain with a skeleton. Oh no, it's the chaplain in Terminator armor.
Yeah, he's got on his shield.
He can have a friend on his shield.
Yeah.
Just put your friend's bones in your shield, and
That's
And
all.
he'll
That's like
protect you.
tightly compacted in a nice little shield, though. This guy was just like,
Oh,
I'm just
yeah,
gonna
no,
strap
this
a
one is-
skeleton
yeah.
torso to my shield.
This one, he's flat pack.
Yeah,
You have to assemble him.
this is pre-planned. He was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a crevasse to put a skeleton in at some point, so
Yeah.
build that into my shield, please.
Wait, are
But yeah,
you
so-
planning to have a skeleton?
He's a chaplain.
You know, the helmet's just not enough, right?
No.
But yeah, so brand new scouts, as well as, you know, I think as everybody assumed after they said, oh, jump pack Marines aren't a thing anymore. Well, they
Yeah.
just have intercessors with jump packs.
Yeah.
Along with an accompanying captain, and as we mentioned, a new Space Marine Terminator model, Terminator Chaplain model, which I think I have everyone that they've made, because there's very few Terminator Chaplain models.
He's
And
so
actually,
cool.
you know, that was the obligatory, you know, miniature painter experience. The old metal one, when I finished painting that and I went to varnish it and I accidentally grabbed green spray paint.
Oh, no.
I think that's that mistake that once you make it once.
Oh no.
Because still to this day, I test spray off to the side before I spray anything, no matter what the can
I'm not
says.
gonna say the words because I am not gonna jinx it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I feel like I'm pitching a perfect game so far. Don't talk about it. Moving on.
And we also got, yeah, I think a cool Space Marine Heroes box if you're a Space Marine player. You know, lots of neat bits in there.
Yeah, they are pretty cool.
Big banners.
Like,
cloaks,
especially if
of
you're
course.
doing, like, you know, if you've got a lot of older Space Marines, you know, and you just want to, like, throw a dude in there to sort of spice them up a little bit. Like, especially if you've got those, like, first Primaris that were all push fit, you know, and you're like,
Yeah.
let me throw some guys in there and make them look a little fancier.
And I like, you know, I think the nice thing about the captain is it's not one of those single pose models like a lot of the lieutenants are, right? There's a bunch of options in there for him.
Tons
And
of
I
options.
do like that the bionic arm bit too. That's on one
The
of those.
bionic arm is new and exciting.
It's very cool.
Huh?
And we're also finally getting the multi-part kits for the Sternguard veterans and the Terminator squad as well.
Yeah.
Sadly, no assault Terminators, which was, I think,
Not sadly, tragically.
well, and I mean, they do say, right, those are going to come later,
Yeah.
but it just seems like maybe it's a production thing, but like it's like an extra sprue, right?
The exact terminology says, note that this set does not contain options for assault terminators. The current kit will remain available for the time being.
Which is awful if you want to get assault Terminators, because they're going to be like a
Yeah.
full half a head shorter
Yeah.
and skinnier than your new Terminators.
But they're the guys that are running in. It's that little guy energy.
Yeah, yeah. You need to move faster, so we put the little guys in the assault Terminator
They're
armor.
fine. They're very exciting.
And also, of course, the Space Marine Codex, right? We knew that was going to be the next
Yeah.
Codex. We know NoVa Open. These previews aren't very far ahead of any of this stuff coming out, so I'm sure we'll see it soon, which will be great because then we can compare Tyranids to Space Marines and kind of see how those compare on the rules writing and the Crusade and stuff. And,
Yeah, how consistent are we being in these codexes?
and what's interesting is even in, you know, we've gotten one or two little previews for the Space Marine Codex, but it has 7 detachments in it instead of 6 because they get their first company detachment.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I guess it makes sense if
There's so many more kinds of models.
That's what I mean, right? The Space Marine data. There's
guess.
literally 120 something data cards for Space Marines, right? So
Like, if you told me Votan got 3, I would go, yeah.
yeah, damn, all right,
Like,
3.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, great.
Well, that depends how many
Do I
new
get
models
an
the
airship?
Photon get.
That's true. Because
Well,
when
I
we
mean,
see that
yeah,
Codex,
like,
we're gonna get
sorry.
that bump.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
But
right, the part of that thing was every Codex comes with new models.
it
this
gets
time
something.
around, which is
Yeah, but something maybe like, say for Eldari, maybe we're going to get some plastic some plastic aspect warriors.
Don't say that. That's a lot of money
Don't.
that I'm going to spend. Oh,
Well, and yeah, but I mean that's the thing, right? Is it's like that'll be the other thing to see would be a codex that we don't know is coming with a whole mess of stuff like
Right,
these two are. Be like, okay, what is it? Like, because it could just be. I mean, what was it? Was it Psychic Awakening? We got all those like character models, right? I mean, the models.
Wait. We got a lot of Space Marine character models.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did. It's fine. Everything's great.
Remember Orktober?
Oh, jeez. We don't talk about it. Though, to be fair, though, those models are fantastic.
They are.
The buggies are great.
The buggies are great.
I mean, I have an entire army of just buggies. So
You do.
Yeah, for sure.
and I love them.
But yeah, I think that'll be the thing is seeing which army, because I feel like Votan. I mean, at least compared to how things have been in the past, right? I feel like Votan is maybe new for a second run.
Oh,
The
yeah. I
Sisters
mean,
weren't out
they did
that
the
long
same thing with
before a
Sisters,
second.
right?
Right? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, the first Sisters Codex had, like, here's, 3/4 of your range,
Here,
and then
shut
when
up.
they redid
Take
it for
these.
9th, it was, here's your last quarter of your range. Or,
So yeah, so that's kind of the, like, that was the, here's your Sisters of Battle, now shut up about it. Okay, here's the rest of them. And this is, here, they're not squats, but take them.
well, I think that's smart, right? Especially for, like, because, right, Votan especially, you could play Sisters, but Votan, here's a whole new army.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of having 20 kits to buy, here's 10 kits for now.
And not just buy, but I mean, look at it from the point of view of rules development.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
imagine you just come out day one, you have like Space Marine volumes of units to balance. That's insanity.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. No one wants to do that.
Yeah.
So Space Marines, right, coming really soon. I'm sure we'll talk about that in an upcoming episode. Let's get on to the better stuff from the preview.
Wow.
Sorry, Space
Listen, I'm just saying,
We're
Trug,
trying.
the Trogoth King,
Trug?
I am so disappointed that he comes with the 6 Rock Gut Trogoths, because I already have
For
so many,
now.
I don't need them.
For now, he does.
Yes, that is true. For now.
It will be an alone version of him.
Eventually.
Here's the thing, right? I'm having a real hard time with this one because this goes up for pre-order this weekend.
I know!
And, like, painting the Trogoth, it's, like, the best thing I've ever painted. And
it was
so I'm
much
like,
fun.
it's and so I'm like, oh, man. What if I just, like, got him and, like, painted him?
And he's
like,
got
what
little
if that
buddies on him.
happened? He has so many little buddies. I like that he was. It's real. I'm reading Discworld for the first time, and it's like there are like big troll creatures that turn into rock and sleep for like a long time, and people don't realize they're there. And that's this guy. They built a temple on his back,
which is awesome.
because he's sleeping.
I love that
appreciate that
he's just like, he's not good. He's not evil. He's just got a migraine.
Yeah, he's like,
he's just really angry.
What is happening?
It's a magic migraine.
Like, what if I painted him and brought him to a Adepticon and was like, here, Golden Demon, please judge me harshly.
It will.
I know.
The hard part for me is that's right now I have trolls for Age of Sigmar, and I love playing that army. So I'm like, okay, I gotta find somebody that needs 6 Rock Gut Trolls.
Sorry, I've already got 6 Rock Gut Trolls.
I know.
He'll come out on his own.
I know.
And not that long, because I mean the
That's true.
Is the Harbinger out yet?
The Harbinger did not. I don't
yet.
think so, but the little goblin is
Is out
pre-order
this
the
week,
same
yeah.
week.
So I figure the Harbinger has to
can't
be
be far behind.
soon-ish,
Yeah.
and that hasn't been that long. So like when the next books come out at the latest, he'll come out on his own.
And I like what they're doing. I hope if they do 40k campaign type books, they do the same thing. But hey, Trug the Trogoth King, here's his battle scroll. Enjoy.
Yeah.
So, can I do a tangent?
Yes.
Better than anyone I know.
So, I just remembered one of my complaints about the Tyranid Codex, and it ties back to a general complaint that I've had about codexes, and it kind of hit me how they should be doing this. And I think I think it's something that we've discussed as a maybe, but now that I've seen how they're doing detachment and I see how they're doing crusade rules and all that, I really think there's less and less room for codexes in general. The game right now has never been better because we all have new rules and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel now that I'm about to jump into a campaign and I look at campaign rules, I'm having the same issue with everything the Tyranid Codex represents is a problem. It's a problem because I'm going into games with detachments, more detachments than anybody else. I'm going into this crusade with crusade rules that my opponent doesn't have.
Yeah.
And I feel that the game would be better served if they would have given us indexes, and instead of a campaign every 6 months or every year, just do it every 3 months. Give everyone a new detachment for that campaign and campaign rules for that campaign, and just do campaign stuff. But let the armies evolve in a more simultaneous way.
Yeah.
Like, instead of it being a race to the finish to whoever's going to get the first or the last codex, like, have everything move forward at the same rate so that people can play and feel like they're on the same leg. Anyways, that was my complaint. I feel that the code's been cracked for the 11th edition. The code's been cracked. They need to break free of codexes and just concentrate on the stuff that makes the game better.
Yeah. I guess we should say, right, that's the update that came out of the new Tyranid Codex is the app for 40K.
I have more complaints.
Right, so if you're not a Warhammer Plus subscriber, you can only have one army list now, and anything you already made, right, still in there. And
yeah, but you can only you can't access it as freely as before, though.
Yes, so anything Tyranid is locked. You have to have the Codex code to get.
I did my Warhammer Plus. Like, I'm sick of subscribing through Apple because it's a pain entirely, and it says old in it, and so I let it lapse and then re-upped on the website. Worked perfectly. Just so everybody
I wanted to do that, but I biffed it, and so it's going to be for next year.
Oh well.
And I think they did say that up front, right? They said the app is free, completely free for now.
Yeah.
And unlike the last one, luckily this one works well.
Mm-hmm.
It does work beautifully, but here's the thing. From a marketing standpoint, what they did right now is a mistake because they took something away.
Right.
Like, right now, like, before this update, you could do as many lists as you wanted from the indexes, like the last time.
Yeah.
But now they took it away. They limited the what you could do with the app more than what it used to be. That's frustrating for a client. Like, I don't mind because I am a subscriber, but the way to attract people to a subscription isn't by removing features for non-subscribers. It's by adding features for subscribers and making the product more enticing. I hate to make that comparison, but they did an Elon Musk on this. Instead of making the subscription model more attractive, they took stuff away from the non-subscribers without adding any further value to the actual subscriber. As a subscriber, I am getting nothing more than I would have gotten otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You cannot punish people into purchasing your products. That is a terrible marketing move. And Games Workshop should not be doing that. If they want people to subscribe, and I mean, it's a good deal. Like, I don't know why people aren't subscribing. Like, I just watched the first episode of Pariah Nexus. It's great. I've been using the app. It's fantastic. Like, there's a lot. Like, you're getting a free model every year. Like,
I have a request though. Please give me a desktop app. I don't have a tablet. And I'm tired of building lists on my phone.
No, I 100% agree, and that is not a hard port to make.
I feel like
it should not be a hard port to make, and they should definitely look into it. But yeah, I mean, look at a feature that would be cool to give subscribers, or hell, create a super subscriber version that costs like 50% more, but you don't need to buy codexes to have data sheets. Find something to make the product more enticing instead of punishing people for not buying the product. Because I promise you, Games Workshop, in the long run, if that is a continuous policy, you will regret it. It will backfire. At some point, you will misstep in a way that is even more noticeable and a lot more punishing, and people will say, screw it, and there will be a new Battle Scribe, a new Army Builders app. There will be something that people will migrate to.
Yeah, it's you're right. They shouldn't take things away, and it's unfortunate that they went that route with it. It would have been better if they came out and said, when it first came out, okay, you get access to everything, you can build one list at a time. And then, now if you subscribe, you can do as many as you want. Right?
Yeah, if they had done this with forethought, maybe. I mean, it would still kind of like been a little annoying, because then they would still have been taking away the previous app that had more flexibility in that sense, and replacing it with what would have seemed like an inferior app in that sense. I mean, there's so many things that they can do, like add a feature. Oh, you can name your units now, or this is going to be cloud-based, so that you can put a certain amount of your lists when you're subscribed. You can put them on a cloud format so that you can access it on your phone or on your tablet or on different, as long as you're logged into your My Warhammer account, you have access to your lists, so you don't have to worry on which device they are. Like, there's so many little features, little quality of life additions that they could give, instead of saying, you're limited to one list, making the app basically useless.
I got one more.
Go ahead.
The tournament export format.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Export for tournament, and then I just print it. And no more copy, pasting, formatting nonsense. That's on my request list.
There's plenty that they could do to make a subscription, to add to a subscription feature to make it enticing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this like as someone who's frustrated. Like I said, this has no impact on me because I am a subscriber, so I don't notice really the change. I'm just saying, from a guy who works in marketing and studies marketing, it is a bad move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pride Nexus is pretty cool though so far.
Good. I haven't watched yet.
So excited.
Just to break that negative silence there.
Thank you. It was really good.
No, it is good. The animation is, I mean, it's on par with what we've seen. There's a lot more organic people, and there's none of those that like black and white filter that we saw in Angels of Thing, the Blood Angel thing.
Yeah.
So because of that, it does feel a little bit more like an elongated video game cutscene.
Sure.
But that is not a negative. Like, video game cutscenes have been really kicking it these days. They've been really good these days. So whatever, I don't care. It is I thought going in, it's like, this is a series. It's gonna be like 10-minute episode, 22-minute. It is a lot. Look, those episodes are feature length, not feature length, but like they're
TV
length,
cable
network. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Only thing that is a little weird is that almost every scene has a title card.
Oh, interesting.
Like, not every shot needs to be its own chapter. Like, it's cool. I guess it's an artistic decision that is a little jarring at first, because you feel like, why are we doing this? Like, is this a new episode? What happened? There's certain things that you can kind of like predict what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. There is a jarring scene where they go from, cutesy war is hell type scenario to the hell of being a Necron prisoner.
Oh god.
And Like that door opens quick and screaming. But otherwise, no, it's very promising. Like it's interesting to be looking at the point of view of these characters who are not Space Marines, and also seeing dialogue for Necrons is kind of interesting. You kind of get an impression of the levels of sentience amongst the Necrons, which is very cool. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to seeing the next episode, because like there are Space Marines, but they're kind of like a background thing. Like they're not the feature as we're used to, and that's always the best for me. Like I like when my Space Marines are a little. I like that Space Marines exist in that universe. It's just that there's so much media that is, Brother Cassius versus the beach or whatever. I don't know. Like it's always Space Marine focused. So seeing the Space Marines as an element of the story rather than the focus is always cool to me.
Nice. I'll have to watch that after we're done.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we weren't done with the preview, were we?
God, no.
No. We were.
Sorry for the interlude.
We went on a tangent after talking about Trog, the goodest Trog.
Yes, migraine Trog.
And so the other Age of Sigmar looks like the Iron Jaws are the next book for Age of Sigmar, and I've always liked. I think the War Boss on Maw Crusher is one of the best Age of Sigmar models.
Yep.
He is my favorite flying potato.
So, and I know this has been a long overdue book to come out for an update, and of course, we get a special character with the Squig Rock Buddy.
Clonk.
Oh,
Clonk, and he comes with an orc.
Yeah.
Like you get the orc for
really, you're buying it for Clonk.
With your Clonk
you get an orc
model.
with it, but.
Yeah. Some of the new models here are super cool. Like they get like progressively crazier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's the Brute Ragers who get embarrassed in battle, take off their armor, and are like, "Oh, look how tough I am." It's real good. The bro energy in this release is so high. And then there's the weird Brute Rekkas that they just like hammer skull masks onto their heads and send them out. They're like the I can't remember what they're called. Is it the Fanatics? The grots that have the the chain things, chain flails, and it's that, but full size orcs,
which is so much more terrifying.
Yeah, just
so scary.
Just
and then new Ard
7
Boys
foot tall
models.
guy spinning towards you with a ball and chain.
With a ball and chain, just coming at your face. And then beautiful new Ard Boy models.
Yes, those are incredible.
Really good. All of the like boar masks that they have.
So are we just like slowly building up to the actual superstar of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. just want to make sure, because I love him so much.
Yeah.
Not for the right reasons, but man, I do want a Maw Grunta.
Yeah. Yes. He's real good. I mean, because they showed us him before, though, right? He wasn't at this preview. He's part of this release.
Yes,
right?
He was not at the preview, but he is part of the release. Which, my gosh.
That's a good one.
He looks so massive. And I want one because I'm doing Beast Snagas, but I'm trying to have a bigger mix of beasts in my Beast Snagas.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of like Tyranid stuff, and one of my kill rig / hunter rig is going to be pulled by a Carnifex. But I was wondering what to do with the other one. Do I keep the Squig thing? But now I saw this guy, the Maw Grunta, and I'm thinking, that could pull a kill rig.
Oh yeah, for sure it could.
It might be a bit too big, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a later preview or earlier preview, but yeah, the new Maw Gruntas, which I think should be pulling your kill rigs. I
just need to buy a model, and hope that it's the proper size.
And then also we got some Horus Heresy previews in there. New, just really more kits moving to plastic, rather than being from Forge World. So is it the Dorado or Dreadnought?
Yes, because I thought he said, well, like I was watching the preview and I was like, did he just say Doritos? What?
The Dorado Dreadnought, which is now what it should be known as.
Which is what happens when your opponent picks up your model.
Oh yeah,
You know, with his cheese fingers.
That guy.
Now it's a Dorito Dreadnought.
And plastic Mark III Marines.
I do like them. They do look good. I like that this preview was very with the Space Marine stuff too. They seemed very into making sure you knew that you could put whatever chapter you wanted on them. Like, was that a question? Are people concerned about that? Because they're like, yeah, you know, the iron armor, which is, you know, it's these chapters have traditionally used it, but you can do any of them. They all look. You can do any of them. Like, yeah, it's okay. We're cool. Or they're just doing it for the people who are like, they didn't use Mark III armor. Yeah, well, Games Workshop said it was fine.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Mom said it was fine.
I feel like that's what they're doing.
That's probably what it is, right? Well, canonically,
stop. We're all here to have fun. Can we please?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then also, of course, you know, we got into some of the other games, right? So another Warcry box.
This one's interesting. So yeah. I'm interested to see if this transfers over to Kill Team. Because what they've done with this box, where traditionally the Warcry box is the board and a bunch of terrain and 2 warbands, and here we go. This one, there's no board and there's no terrain, because if you've been buying these boxes all the time, you have more of both of those things than you know what to do with. So it is the 2 warbands and a centerpiece piece of terrain, like a thematic, really cool piece, instead of like a whole bunch of trees and buildings and ruins and whatever. So I'm like curious to see. I love this. I'm curious to see if this goes over.
Kill Team.
Yeah.
Well, especially since when you're looking at, you know, the Warcry boxes, they were what, $180, $200?
Yeah.
Right. This is.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know the price point on this yet, but it's going to be less than that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which is nice.
And then, yeah, if like you were saying, right, if you're a Warcry player, you have more Warcry terrain.
Yeah.
Then you know
what to do with.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, and if it does transport over to Kill Team, because the last Galadark's over, right? That season's done.
Yep.
So
we don't know what's coming next yet, right?
But yeah, no, we have no idea what's coming next. Yeah. But the thing is, and this is where something like that becomes interesting, I wouldn't mind seeing an entire season of just that kind of release, with maybe one big box at some point. Because we've all gone through an entire season of accumulating the boarding action Galadark scenery.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind playing with it a bit longer.
I mean, well, so we did, like, the Galadark crashed. That was, like, how the story ended. So, like, it still exists. We can still play there. And now it's, like, or parts of it, right? So part of your board is in the ship and part of your board is outside.
Ooh,
you can totally do that, and that would be really cool.
That would be super fun. And that's the thing. Like, one of those releases, you get a box and it comes with a bunch of trees.
Yeah.
Instead of something else.
Because you can still get you can still buy the Galadark terrain.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like the first box set is the whole story is, well, the Galadark crashed, but like there's this massive fusion reactor that needs to be disarmed.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you get the box and it comes, here's your fusion reactor and your 2 teams. Like, there's so much you can do with it, and that's the beauty of that terrain. It's so modular.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So please,
even more so than like any of the little bits of ruins that they've done for either game.
Mm-hmm.
We get the Cities of Sigmar warband, which is a bunch of humans and a lot of dogs.
Yes.
It is 5 dogs. They're all very good.
Most little buddies in one box so far.
But the other team are like absolutely crazy. So they're gorgers. They are like ogres that have insatiable hunger.
Yeah.
And the other ogres won't associate with them because they're afraid it's like that they'll catch it. They're afraid it's contagious. And so they like send them out. Oh, these guys are so messed up, and I love them. And there's only 4 of them. 5 of them. I don't know. There's not that many. And I love them so much. They're so weird. And then the terrain pit is the terrain piece is the maw pit, which we love a good terrain piece. It's a giant skull. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's not a sarlacc pit.
No.
At
No,
all.
you
It's got way more teeth.
Yeah.
And you are not getting out of this one.
Way more
I don't
teeth, less
care
tentacles.
who you are. Yeah.
I don't care how much the fans won't shut up about you.
Yeah. You are not getting out of this pit. It's very good. It's very good. I'm into it.
And another Blood Bowl team.
I don't want to get into Blood Bowl. I don't. But it's so good.
The models they've been making for these new teams, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. They're all very characterful. And if not for holding a football, could be used in your Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the team that what they do in the Shadows would play.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
they're like, look at them, look how accurate. It's just very good. And they have thralls that are just covered in bandages because every now and then one of the vampires has to like take a little sippy sip. Ridiculous.
One guy holding the bat, just like, hey, got a bat.
Yeah, hey, I brought the bat. I'm here. The tokens and things are also unbelievably cool.
Yeah, they do a good job because they're plastic right on the sprue for your score tracking tokens and everything.
So good.
And we get to see the next Underworlds box set, which does not have a little buddy, has a big buddy.
It has a big buddy. So so we've got a new Ideneth Deepkin warband. It does also have little buddies though.
Yes.
It has a couple of little ones, but it has a giant octopusy squiddy guy who does look like he's doing like the put up your dukes fists, which is quite good. And then like a few thralls, and it's what you would expect. And I love him. The octopus took everything by storm. Was it Sephir? I think is his name. And I love him, Sephanir. And I love him. But what they've done is they've put it in a box with the Mean Girls Demonettes.
Right?
And they are 3 really messed up demonettes who hate each other and who get better as the other ones fail.
Which is such a cool mechanic for this game.
It's so good. And I mean, this is like, we've talked about like when they put out the new Chaos Cultists and things like that, and we talk about it when we play Darktide. The middle part of the Blessings of Chaos is not fun. Like when you're a regular cultist, it's like cool, whatever. You've got a lot of friends suddenly, it's fine. And when you like ascend to demonhood, that seems pretty good. But in the middle, not good.
Yeah, there is a part where the plague actually doesn't feel too good.
Yeah, it's like actually a plague.
While the tentacle is growing, it hurts.
It kind of hurts,
good.
but once it's there.
The horns, it's like teething, but on your head.
Yeah, exactly.
These guys are full-grown demons, but they're not like... Oh, they're so good. There's like a snaky one, there's one with too many arms, and then there's the chubby demonette. And they are so good.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about these stupid models.
Yeah, they're very, very cool.
And then they come with their Rivals decks, and you get 2 generic Rivals decks.
Which is awesome.
Rivals, I don't know why anyone is playing any other way. I don't understand.
I think one of the great things about this game is you get this. You also have 3 models you can use as characters for your army.
Absolutely.
Right? Like I bought the Grot one.
Yep.
Just because it was like 6 characters for my.
And they generally put out War Scrolls for Warcry also.
Yep. So you can use them as that team.
Yeah.
If you want.
Yep. And the other thing I really like about this game is that they learned that we don't want to play the X-Wing, buy all the things just so you can get the cards game. No one wants, instead of just continuing to do that and running your game into the ground, they were like, okay, that's fine. Then, if you want to play, was it Nemesis, I think is the version where you deck build. If you want to do that, that's fine. you can still do that. And yes, you will have to buy things to get the cards you want in order to do that. But you do not need to do that to play. And to play competitively. You can use pre-built decks. Great. I love that. I hate deck building, but I love this game. And so now they took my least favorite part out.
I got to get back into it because I was, I played again when it first came out, which was the got to buy everything to get all the cards.
Yeah. I mean, we were like, my group was perfectly fine with proxies. You know what I mean? Like we had a lot of former X-Wing players that were like, never again. But then again, I did buy everything because I loved it all. So it was less of an issue for me personally, but like I never had a problem with proxies.
It was just it's not even owning everything. It's the, okay, what does each different of these 300 cards do?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like you said, the deck building part of it.
Yeah. It's a different game.
Yeah. But this is I think one of the best Warcry 2-player, Underworld's 2-player sets, just because the models that are in this box.
I'm usually like enthusiastic about one.
Yeah.
And then like neutral or ambivalent about the other. But no, I am hyped about every model in this box.
Always ambivalent when it's Stormcast.
Yeah, for the most.
One of the nice things about this set too is that it is a very manageable amount of models.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's 7 models. Like, I can very easily imagine someone who wants to get into this with a friend just picking up the box, painting all 7 models, and being ready to go.
Yep.
It's fewer models than a unit of Space Marines or something.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's a good start.
I love this game.
I might pick up that one. I haven't picked up a starter box of Underworlds in a while because I don't get to play that much. But that one,
that
one's pretty.
Yep.
We had another little peek into the old world with Lay Down a Unicorn.
I want to make her a Rough Rider. Like I want to make her my Rough Rider captain.
Just so it's not a Rough Rider. It's a smooth rider.
Yeah, like put a gas mask on the unicorn. Whatever. I feel like it'd be good. I feel like I would make a lot of people angry. It would be great.
I saw that model and my first reaction was, this is the least Games Workshop model I have ever seen.
It was the most awkward part of the preview.
Right.
Like, it's just like what is happening?
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I love it.
I love
it. It has little to none of the signature Games Workshop things.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. So good. She's great.
She'll
be resin.
Yeah, she's a Forge World model, I think they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. I might indulge just because of how cool it is.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, there's so few spikes, no skulls. What's going on?
Yeah. This preview was I feel like the Space Marine part was like the hill that you climb at the start of the roller coaster.
It's mean.
Which is like, okay, all right. And then like it just kind of went crazy from there. Because their one more thing.
Yes.
Their one more thing was wild.
Yeah, so that's the last, right? They, of course, at the end, just like they like to do, like, oh, by the way, here's one more thing.
One more thing.
And it is Fulgrim. In sort of his demon enhanced form, but not quite full demon yet.
What do they call it? It's
Ascended?
No, he's not ascended, because that's what I thought, because it's Horus ascended, and it's goodness, and it's not in this stupid article. Fulgrim transfigured.
Oh, transfigured. Yeah.
Transfigured. I saw this and I was like, are you kidding me?
And if you were watching the preview, chat immediately went crazy because they said, oh, and he's not for 40K.
I mean, yeah.
And woe betide was
woe betide.
was the agony of chat.
I
Get
mean,
over it.
Here's the thing. I know I've committed to the Horus Heresy chapter, but that
Right.
I had to tell myself that I could just buy this model. I didn't
Yes.
have to like start over. I could just get the model. It would be fine. It was intense
No,
though.
definitely.
I was like, my boy,
So-
look at him.
This model is exactly what I think we all wanted for Demon Prince Fulgrim.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
eventually, they're going to have to do Noise Marines. We're going to get our, Emperor's Children Codex.
Yeah.
And we're going to get a Demon Prince because that's what we got for Death Guard, for World Eaters, and for 1,000 Suns.
Yep.
But look at this bastard.
He's so
This model
beautiful.
is amazing.
Where do you go from this?
Look
Like,
at his wingspan.
Is incredible. I
so big.
I expect to see lots of posts on like Marketplace, like want to buy these wings.
These wings. They're huge.
These wings.
Absolutely massive.
But I'm serious. Like, okay, they're gonna come out with the 40K Codex, and there's gonna be a full plastic Fulgrim, and no one's gonna give a damn, and they're just gonna buy this guy and proxy it.
I don't know. I wouldn't have known that they
okay.
could have done this.
I'm saying this right now, and maybe they'll come out with something that'll just blow my mind.
Right.
Having palpitations.
But again, where do you go from here?
Yeah, this model is.
I don't know.
It's incredible.
He's incredible. His little tail stinger. The
and-
faces on the cape that are like the Unmade and Warcry. They're just all like stretched out. Oh, he's so gross and beautiful, and I love my scaly son.
And I mean, I'm not surprised with how impressive this model is, only because the Marathi model is also another incredible
That's true,
snake
yeah.
lady model
Yep.
that they've done before, right?
Yeah, and the
I
Horus
feel like-
Ascended model goes so hard.
I
You're
feel
gonna
like
buy
this
him-
is like the snake body thing is one of those things that they've like, we got this down to a T. Let's just keep doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna buy him, and I'm gonna buy Marathi. I'm just gonna paint him and make him kiss.
And you can get a bunch of the little ones to be like their kids.
Yeah.
Little family diorama.
Just that Fulgrim that looks like he's coming back to work with his little tie and just pissed. With the Marathi just like mixing some food or whatever. I don't know.
Golden
Some
Demon
guy-
Entry 2025.
Some 1950s cliche bullshit. I don't know anymore.
But yeah, this is absolutely fantastic model.
This is gonna win next year's best model contest. Like,
Yeah,
hands
without
down.
I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah. I
Listen,
also
Kronk is great, but
this also makes me excited to see what they do with the other Primarchs.
No, I mean, it'll be fine, but it's not gonna be.
It's not going to be
this.
this, but they could be close to as impressive.
Yeah, pack it up. We're like, because the thing is,
I mean,
like,
they wouldn't have done that though, right? Like they wouldn't be like, well, I
We
guess we're done.
peaked.
I mean, I
Right,
guess that's
yeah.
what we did. But
it's
we've
listen,
done that.
listen. We're that girl at the bar. We got some drinks bought for us. We had a good time, so we went back to the guy's place, and he immediately pulled his best move, and now we have to go home.
Yeah.
Right.
Games Workshop's the guy in that.
Yeah.
analogy.
No, I got it.
No, I just want to make sure. Listen, like, I very often say, oh, this is the best model ever, and like eventually they'll do something better, and I'm very eager to see what the better thing is. I'm not even into this army at all, and I'm impressed.
So good.
But so Fulgrim is what capped off this year's NoVa preview. A lot of very cool
what were they
stuff.
going to follow that with?
I know, right? Oh, by the way, here's one more thing. Another lieutenant.
It's a Primaris captain,
Yay!
but he's got a banner.
With a skeleton on it. Like, this guy has everything.
He's got it all.
And then since that, we've seen they're continuing with the Legions Imperialis preview slowly. right?
Mhm.
Everybody, now knows that there's a delay. But they're kind of showing, oh, here's some stuff for reboxing. Here's how aircraft work. Here's how terrain works. So, I'm sure if this was when it was originally supposed to come out, all this stuff would have been crammed into like 1 week of previews. So now they're just stretching out until they can get their problems fixed.
I mean, I may be mad about Aeronautica, but I will give them credit for the Warhammer community article, Bad Altitude. It's very good. That's very good, and I'm mad about it.
And the Tyranids went up since our last for pre-order and release since our last recording. So lots of articles about how to paint your Tyranids, which was great, right? How to speed paint some Tyranids. And I think, the other biggest thing that's happened in the world of 40K is the balanced data slate.
Heck yeah.
Which severely hampered the armies that were going a little crazy, which is great.
Yep.
And also brought
It's all good. It's important.
Yeah. And also brought some other armies. My local store just had last weekend their monthly ITC tournament. Votan won. And Death Guard came in third.
Wow.
Votan, and actually a lot of armies that were underperforming got quite a few points drops. Votan, they get to put out more of their judgment tokens at the beginning of the game, which makes life a little easier for them.
Yeah.
And Death Guard finally got, a lot of people are saying, finally got a detachment ability, which is great. You get to pick from 3 different things that go off with your aura. -1 save, -1 weapon skill and ballistic skill, or I forget what the last one was. -1 leadership. Right? So big jumps from armies that kind of were way underperforming. And then the top armies, Eldari, Knights, Custodes, right, got points increases, and I think the biggest thing that they changed is how towering works now. Towering can't see through ruins, it used to just be true line of sight, right? So all these models are bigger than a lot of the ruins that people had, so they could just see right over it. But now they have to they're the one unit that can kind of not be fully within a ruin and see through it, but they can't just see the entire board now, which was a problem.
Yeah.
Especially with the guns they tend to have.
Yes. And some other big changes need line of sight for Overwatch now, which means no more being overwatched by D cannons, which combined with Fate Dice was a problem. And they sort of clarified how some of the free CP stuff works, right? So and the CP reduction, which makes it less abusable. And the big thing, or one of the big things, is the insane bravery strategy, which lets you automatically pass a battle shock test. Used to be after you rolled, as many times as you want. Now it's once a game before you roll, which is a huge change.
Yeah.
Especially the once a game part, which should just make those tiers a little bit better. So lots of points changes across the board. We'll see in another 3 months if it was an overcorrection or not. But I appreciate that they're on top of it.
Yeah.
Right. Clearly these armies were way overperforming. Let's kind of cut them off at the knees, and then in 3 months adjust again if we have to.
Mm-hmm. No, it's good. I like the adjustments. I like that we're paying attention, and it's way better this way. But it's a whole thing.
Yeah, and a few minor adjustments to some other armies, which no real big deal. Some points. Every army got some points changes somewhere. Maybe got some stratagems changed a little bit, but nothing as overall impactful as those changes.
Yeah.
And I think the general consensus from everybody is they're good changes. Your big tournament players are probably upset because they have to change now, but it's not a game for tournaments, right? They've always said that.
Yeah.
I think the important thing is that the game is remaining fun.
Yes.
I have never played an edition so much as I'm playing 10th edition right now, and it just seems like I'm going to be playing more and more of it.
And I think, which we mentioned when we talked about the Tyranid codex, is nothing in the codex, which is what used to happen before, is like, this is the most powerful thing in the game now. I should only play this if I want to, win, right?
Or if that ever happens, it feels like they'll fix it. Like, we're at a point where I feel like anybody that spends hundreds of dollars getting some meta broken thing is really just throwing money away, because they should know by now.
Know better.
Yeah, they should know by now that whatever broken thing they think is going to make them win all the tournaments forever is going to get re-nerfed soon enough, and that's where we want to be.
Yeah.
Well, and even this update came out for the Tyranids release, and they're like, "Yep, here's all your new points, by the way, because you've already looked and adjusted."
Yeah.
Which, I hate to bring it back to that, the fact that points are going to be dynamically adjusted, data sheets are getting dynamically adjusted. There are a lot of pages of a codex that gets nullified real freaking quick.
Yeah.
Me making the concept of codexes a little more obsolete every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that two-edged sword thing, right? Double-edged sword, where we're staying on top of it, but then it changes, like you said, right? The data sheets and the codexes and the points and stuff. But hopefully, I think we're all on the same page that hopefully they move away from, codexes are just like a nice thing to have, but not necessary.
Yeah. We'll still buy them. We will.
One big announcement, which we don't know what it's for yet today, but they Games Workshop is collaborating with Weta Workshop to bring something.
Statues. They're statues.
They are.
Yeah.
They're 1/6 scale premium statues. They say it right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't read the whole article. I just saw the.
It's in the first paragraph. Second paragraph. Sorry. No. It's and if you listen to like the little like vignette interviews that they have with some of the people, they each mention like, oh, I love Tyranids. Oh, I love orcs. Like, this is probably just a very subtle catalog of what to expect.
Yeah.
And they kind of did this a while ago. They had this. They were only Space Marines, but they had a bunch of and they weren't. I don't think they were 1/6 scale, but they had a bunch of the Space Marine statues, like the little desk display statues.
Mm-hmm.
And they've sort of been moving towards these more ancillary products, like Joy Toy has been huge for them, right? I mean, you want a squad of 5 Battle Sisters in action figure scale with removable accessories. Okay, here it is. Even stuff like the orcs in mega armor, or the Space Marine,
an entire Invictor warsuit.
Yeah, I was gonna say the warsuit, right? You want one of those for your desk or your shelf? Here you go. So I think this is sort of like the natural progression to now. Okay, here's more of a premium product that we're gonna have for you. Probably not my thing.
Yeah. My only concern is I have seen some other Weta Workshop campaign. Like, I mean, I think Games Workshop is big enough that it'll be fine, but I've seen some other ones that like they did pre-orders and it was wildly popular, and then they were like, oh, actually we're just gonna have to cancel this.
Yeah, I know they had a board game that was really popular and went really well, and like they did one run, and then everybody that was waiting for a second run, they pretty much just told to go screw themselves.
Yeah.
They for people that work in visuals, they have a lot of trouble maintaining a good image, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope, because obviously with the Lord of the Rings miniatures game, they had to collaborate with Weta for the costumes to get them right. So it feels like they already have a good relationship, and hopefully they're like, well, we don't want to screw over like our biggest collaborator in the miniatures statue space kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because here's the thing: like Games Workshop can move their IP somewhere else. if they feel like
Yes.
it. Meanwhile, if Weta burns the bridge with Games Workshop, other IPs may be a little gun shy about working with them.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you've seen that with Games Workshop, right? Whoever produces their video games gets bounced around depending on who they think is going to do the best job. So they would have no problem being like, "Oh, Weta, you screwed us over. Well, we're just going to get statues from these people now."
Yeah.
Yeah, if anybody that's been a Games Workshop client for any length of time knows that GW has they may have affairs with other things, but they are married to their IP, and they will always come back to that bed.
Yeah.
And you do not mess around with their IP for very long.
No, and if you do, they will never, ever talk to you again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a company that will not acknowledge that colors can have normal names. They need to have IP names.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they will redo an entire line of paint to make sure that happens. So,
I mean, shoot, they change army names based on that too, right?
Oh, yeah. Like,
Eldar,
too common. Aldari.
Well, yeah, Astra Militarum, known to the layman as the Imperial Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like Sister Belt and then the nay, Adeptus Sororitas, because we can trademark that. So, yeah, I have a feeling that if Weta wets the bet on that one, Games Workshop will have no problem moving to something else because that's where their priorities lie.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's weird to say, but like as frustrating as it has been to have like blood red turn into corn red or something, it is reassuring to know that if you're following the work of a company, the fact that they're going to protect the reason you follow that company, we're at a point where it's like, no, I'm in favor. Like it was painful getting there, but now I support it.
Mm.
And the kind of funny thing is too, right? If you really, really like Blood Red from back when it was Coat to Arms, well, you can get a reasonable facsimile of that from Coat to Arms anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's not a big deal.
No. All right. Do you guys have anything else for the listeners out there today?
I don't think so.
No,
I think that's everything. I think we've covered literally everything that exists.
Yes.
I think I've taken us down some places and kept this NoVa thing interesting by having a few tangents in here and there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have the tangents, right?
Yeah, no, and I mean, it allowed us to cover everything, and we're good. It's a long episode. There was a lot to go through.
Yeah.
And a lot of
we tried to let you get to bed last time, so you know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I want to thank the listeners for hanging out with us for this long and for listening. Like and subscribe, whatever. I don't know.
You know those things.
Yeah.
Click that bell.
Those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean anything that encourages us. Like tell your friends. I don't know.
Yeah, of course, as always, feel free to interact with us on Facebook or other social media. Check out JF's awesomely painted Tyranids up there. If you dig back a little bit, he shared the way he paints his stuff too. So you can check that out if you really like his color scheme and his bases. Otherwise, we'll be back in a couple weeks. Thank you for listening to 40K Radio, part of the Freebooters Network. You can contact us via email at hosts@40kradio.com or on the Freebooters Forum. Please check out the other podcasts on the Freebooters Network. Until next time, remember that in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war and cookies.